The decline in ADP report yesterday, does this raise questions about tomorrow's non-farm payroll numbers?
Most certainly. I mean, we had expected a 50,000 job growth, and tomorrow's numbers were, some people are giving some really spectacular numbers out there. The high end of expectations were hovering around the 350, 400,000 new jobs added. We do still expect to see an improvement. There's a census going on in the US at the moment, and that's going to add to the number of jobs, even though they're temporary, that are currently being created in the US. So we do expect to see some kind of improvement, but obviously you have to downgrade expectations now after that ADP number.
And the non-farm payroll numbers, expectations are around 200,000. Are you also sitting on that fence?
Yeah, I was, at the start of the week I was leaning towards a higher than 200,000. Now I think we're probably going to hit 200,000, maybe a bit below that.
All right, and next week, will these numbers play a main feature on the markets?
Yes, most certainly. I mean, the US economy functions with its consumers. Its consumers drive that economy. If you go to China, for instance, you find that the state control is what, or the state is actually the main driver of that economy. But in the US, it's 70% the consumer. And if the consumer sees his neighbor has no job or he has no job, he's much less likely to buy things. And therefore, that's going to have a huge impact in terms of what the future growth prospects of the country is. And because the US is the main consumer in the world, obviously China is going to be affected and we are going to be affected as well.
Moody's downgraded 5 Greek banks yesterday. We saw that the Greek bond didn't go too well earlier this week. Will the Eurozone still be in the spotlight for weeks or even months to come?
Oh, most certainly. I mean, it's a case of dominoes falling, and every domino is bigger than the last one. Now we have Portugal in trouble, and Portugal is also having a bit of an issue. And then we're going to talk about Spain and maybe even Italy later on. And each of these countries is vastly bigger than the previous country. For instance, if you look at Spain, Spain is twice the size in terms of the GDP as all the other countries been discussed, like Ireland, Portugal and Greece combined. So we're talking a huge economy, and if the Spanish have a problem, that's going to be a big thing. And actually, it's even bigger than that. So obviously, the more we go down the road, more countries coming towards the crises, the more we're going to have to discuss the viability of the Eurozone and the decisions that are being made to actually protect the Euro.
Right, and the Dow Jones has been seen to crack that 11,000 point mark, even edging higher. But with numbers such as the ADP coming as they are, do you think we'll break it in this coming quarter?
I think we might. I think that it's psychological level, you might have resistance there, but I think we probably are going to hit it and break it. There's still liquidity out there, but it's been withdrawn to a certain extent. So we've got to see. I think we will hit 11,000, maybe break it, but I don't think we'll go much beyond that. I think we are due for a bit of a pullback.
Here in South Africa, there's a bit of a shake-up in the insurance industry. We've got Metropolitan as well as Momentum merging. What did you make of that? Yeah,
it came a bit of a surprise. I mean, even I think as early as a year ago, people were discussing it with the CEOs involved and were saying, no, that's not going to happen, etc., etc. But I do think that it obviously creates opportunities, but generally when you have the large organization like this merge, you usually have, a loss of efficiency rather than the gain of efficiency. Very rarely do you have a huge merger happening where you do see gains in efficiencies, especially to the extent that the participants claim they are going to be.
Do you think there's still a lot of red tape surrounding the deal?
Most certainly. I mean, it's quite a new deal and they still haven't worked at the details as yet, and still haven't got an approval from the relevant authorities, etc. So they are looking at a lot of stuff still to be worked out. But I'm not a huge fan of these kind of massive mergers, no.
Right, and we have Capitec also releasing results. Headline earnings per share up 44%. What did you make of those numbers?
Yes, they were quite good, and actually you saw a huge increase in the number of actual new customers coming in as well. So that was obviously a good thing for the company. It was quite a positive surprise. So yes, it does show that maybe there is something to be looked at there.